Today on Studio One, it can get pretty cold here in North Dakota. We'll spend a day in the life of someone who gives shelter to those who need it most. Also, red hats, purple dresses, and feather boas might sound like a fashion train wreck. You might see this combination sooner than you think. And the possibility of war has some people raising their voices in protest, while soldiers prepare for the journey to the Middle East.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hi everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Adria Ensrud.
Well, Adria, there's a lot of people out there who try and conserve energy to help the environment. They recycle and they turn off lights when they're not in rooms, that sort of thing. But have you ever heard of green building before?
I have not.
Maybe a green, you've seen a green building probably before.
Yes, green painted building.
Right, yeah, right. Well, this is a little bit different. Later on in the show, we're going to talk to somebody who actually knows a lot about the green building process. And what that is basically it's building structures that will help the environment rather than harm it.
Interesting.
So it's kind of planning for the future and doing that sort of thing. Because energy is always on everybody's mind, and it's a big deal to try and conserve that. So
right, it is.
Yeah, later on, we'll talk to him about that.
Interesting.
Also coming up in the show, the U.S. policy with Iraq has stirred up a lot of emotions in people. We'll hear from some of the more vocal critics and supporters.
Also, the computer age has redefined society in many ways. It has brought along new ways to communicate, new forms of entertainment, and also new crimes. Later, we'll talk to a man who tries to prevent one computer crime from happening to his system. Before
we get to that, today's news with Haley Wamstead.
Thanks, Monty and Adria. Iraqi leaders are rejecting a British proposal for a new UN resolution that would set specific goals for disarmament. Britain's plan would force Iraq to meet specific tasks such as handing over its supplies of anthrax or proving they were dangerous. It also calls on Iraq to let its scientists be interviewed outside the country and extends the March 17th deadline. But Iraqi leaders say Britain and the U.S. are just trying to rally international support for a war against Iraq. And other countries such as France oppose the plan. French leaders say it sets an unrealistic deadline for Iraq to meet. While U.S. and British soldiers wait for a possible war with Iraq, they are battling a war of their own. Troops in the Middle East are struggling with a second sandstorm in less than a week. Some soldiers were forced to wear goggles and masks over their mouths to keep out the sand. The storm caused limited vision and breathing problems for those caught outside and damaged unprotected equipment. Some of the troops stationed in the Middle East trained in the California desert, so they say they are used to the similar conditions. Each spring, millions of college students look forward to taking a break from their studies and going on vacation. Whether they choose to hit the beaches or the ski slopes, all students must be careful when shelling out their hard-earned money. The Better Business Bureau says when booking a spring break trip, there are several things students should keep in mind. It says students should avoid high-pressure sales pitches, read the fine print, and pay with a credit card to guard against fraud. Another way they can protect themselves is to go through a licensed travel agency.
You know, you don't want to, be all excited about this spring break trip and then it gets canceled the week before because the company went bankrupt, and that so easily could happen.
While some travel offers may look promising, it is important to get all details in writing. When booking a spring break trip, students should be leery of free offers, unusually low prices, and hidden fees. Many parents with children have difficulty installing child safety seats, and now a new study shows the problem may be with how the instructions are written. Installation manuals are usually written at the 10th grade level, but data suggests that nearly a quarter of U.S. adults read at only an 8th grade level. A study in this month's issue of Pediatrics links the manuals to the seat problem. Car inspectors have found that 80% of child safety seats are improperly installed. Child safety advocacy groups are working with manufacturers to rewrite the manuals. With the U.S. poised to go to war with Iraq, people around the world have been expressing their opinions on the subject. In the U.S., both young and old are taking a stand on the possibility of their country going to war.
The idea of a war with Iraq has people of all ages expressing their concerns and fighting for what they feel is right for their country. Here at the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, students are preparing for an anti-war protest, hoping to be heard on the streets of their campus.
I think any opinion coming out right now is great because then that shows a lack, that shows interest and that shows creativity, and it gets people interested in their world, and instead of just sitting and bickering back and forth with each other.
With the signs and banners ready to go, the students took to the streets to make their voices heard.
I don't believe the war with Iraq is going to solve anything. If anything, it will increase terrorism against American citizens and destabilize the region, and I don't think it's going to help.
I don't think war would ever solve anything. It's you just replace one tyrant with another. They're going to keep popping up. There's really nothing you can do about it. I say just peace, man. Peace.
But across the street, others expressed their support for President Bush and his policy with Iraq.
I think that it's just time for people who do support our troops and want to get rid of Saddam to get out and protest and make some noise.
We need to go into Iraq. It's been too long. 17 resolutions is 10 years or 12 years, but it's been since the war. It's time to get that mess cleaned up.
Even though it's just the width of a busy street that separates these two groups, they are far apart when it comes to their views.
The only thing that bothers me is that they seem to insinuate that we don't support our troops, and I wholeheartedly support our troops. I have friends that are over there. However, I want them here. I want them safe at home. I don't want them to go risk their lives over there.
While the demonstration here may not change U.S. policy concerning Iraq, these protesters hope their message will leave a strong impression with those who hear it. Reporting for Studio One News, I'm Kristen Gillick.
Coming up later in the show, we'll talk with soldiers from the Army National Guard who will soon be on their way to the Middle East. We'll hear how that's affecting them and their families. That's news for now. Monty and Adria.
Thanks a lot, Haley. Well, unfortunately for those people in that story standing outside with the signs, it looked pretty chilly out there.
I know, warm jackets are needed at that time. Well, why don't we go ahead and check in with the Regional Weather Information Center with Nadine Schrader and see how those temperatures are looking.
Thanks, Monty and Adria. Our temperatures are slowly rising throughout the day, and they're expected to keep on rising throughout the weekend. But before we get to the extended forecast, let's take a look at our Grand Forks Almanac. Today we hit a high of 30 degrees. Is actually what we're sitting at right now. Our low is -5. We hit our record high last year of 53 degrees. And our sun will set tonight at 6:31 p.m. Currently in Grand Forks, we are having cloudy skies and it's very windy outside. Temperature at 30 degrees, dew point at 27, relative humidity at 88%, south winds at 25 miles per hour, and our pressure is dropping at 29.93 inches of mercury. If we look at our temperatures across the region, we are seeing very, very warm temperatures as a warm front's sliding through towards the western part of South Dakota. 72 in Rapid City, 74 degrees in North Platte. Pretty average temperatures across the rest of the region, 32 degrees in Minneapolis and 34 degrees in Fargo. Our surface analysis shows currently we are seeing this warm front move through South Dakota along with another warm front up in Canada. So we zoom out, we are seeing a high pressure system clearing the skies right around the Four Corners area, and this low pressure system creating quite a stir and massive thunderstorms towards the southeast coast. If we look into tomorrow, those storms should be pushing their way out. Along with that, high pressure system is going to be moving towards the central part of the United States. And a low out by the Alaskan coast is creating quite a stir with some storms up towards the northwest corner of the United States. If you look at tomorrow's forecast, it shows that we're going to have a high of 43 degrees, low of 28, mostly cloudy skies with south winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Your weather IQ question for the week is, a cloud-like streamer usually seen behind an airplane is called an A, fulgurite, B, cloudburst, C, rain shadow, or D, contrail. Well, I'll have the answer to that question and your extended forecast for you later in the show.
Thank you so much, Nadine. I've never heard some of those words, so I don't even know.
Well, maybe we'll find out what that is later.
Yeah.
Let's go now to some sports news with Corey Morlock.
Thanks, Monty and Adria. 1 year after playing in the Stanley Cup Finals, the Carolina Hurricanes find themselves on the outside looking in. Likewise, the Buffalo Sabres' chances for the postseason are non-existent. With no chance for the playoffs, the two teams battled it out Wednesday night. In the first, the Sabres with some nifty passing as Adam Mayer puts in the wrister. 1-0 Buffalo. Beat 2-1 Sabres with 10 seconds left. Ron Francis feeds Radim Verbata, ties it up at 2, sending the game into OT. Just a minute left, Craig Adam with a surprise wrister. Carolina wins it 3-2 and improves their season-high game-winning streak to 4 games. In the NBA, Clippers at Houston, LA up 3 with 15 seconds left. Stevie Franchise hitting the 3, ties it up at 104. But check this out, 1.1 seconds remaining. Andre Miller thinks he hits a game-winning free throw. The refs say crossed the line, but the replay shows didn't even cross it. Bad call send the game into OT. Houston up 2. Glenn Rice breaking away with a two-handed slam. Houston wins it 118-114. With the recent death of Baltimore Orioles baseball player, dietary supplements have created quite a controversy. Steve Beckler collapsed during a preseason workout and died later at a local hospital. The supplement that was linked with Beckler's death is ephedra, an herb grown mostly in Asia. There are hundreds of products that contain ephedra on the market. Most of the products are diet pills, but some are decongestant drugs. But these supplements are not standardized by the FDA and come with no warning labels. Some medical experts believe the risks involved with athletes taking these supplements outweigh the benefits.
I can think of no condition in which an athlete would be benefited by drugs like ephedra.
Many doctors say using ephedra can be especially harmful to athletes when they are competing or working out. Not only is the athlete's heart rate increased from their activity, but using ephedra can raise the blood pressure and heart rate even higher. These increases can be potentially dangerous. Now it's time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. How long was the longest boxing match ever? We've got some pretty high numbered rounds there. We'll get the answer to that and more sports coming up in the second half of the show. Monty and Adria.
Thanks, Corey. Coming up, we'll take a look at Disney's latest animated movie featuring some favorite characters from the past. Piglet, Eeyore, and Christopher Robin will star in the all-new adventure, Piglet's Big Movie.
Also, many people use computers to check their emails, surf websites, or even check on their bank accounts. Few even think about security problems when they do these sorts of activities. Coming up, we'll talk to a man about computer security issues and how they can affect your online behavior.
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The University of North Dakota. You can go anywhere from here. At UND, you'll find a challenging, exciting community that draws students from across the nation and around the world. Visit our campus and join the University of North Dakota community.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
At UND Aerospace, let your future take flight. Plan your education in the most technologically advanced collegiate and contract aerospace training environment on the planet. Graduates work for top agencies and fly for every major airline nationwide. Study on campus, via distance learning, or at any of our facilities, and you'll be where the aviation industry leaders of tomorrow are today. UND Aerospace at the University of North Dakota, Grand Forks.
You're watching Studio One, news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
The The Software and Information Industry Association says that computer crimes are rising by 12% each year. One of these crimes is computer hacking. Today we are going to talk to Computer Network Systems Administrator John Wold about computer security issues. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
I know that you work with computer security every day. What exactly do you do?
Well, we use various tools and techniques to monitor our network and use other tools and techniques to protect the network. And on a daily basis, I look at various logs and use our tools to see what exactly is going on in our network, so I know if something is going on or about to happen. I can identify it and then take action.
Now, the term hacking is often used. Many people have heard it, but what exactly is computer hacking?
Well, hacking originally, it's a term from the 60s, is actually for various computer engineers at like MIT that would be pushing the limits of what computers could do. They're like going beyond what the designers meant them to be. And even today, hackers isn't necessarily a bad thing. You tend to think of crackers as the bad hackers that try to break into your network, steal things, cause a denial of service. If I was a hacker and I was a bad guy, I mean, you look at what would he want? How about your credit card number? How about all your information so I can steal your identity, things like that.
What types of systems do hackers typically try to hack into these days?
Well, the good hackers are after the banks, the credit card companies, insurance companies, anywhere your personal information, credit card information is stored. And sometimes high-profile companies like Microsoft will try to deface their website, things of that nature.
And do you see hacking and other computer crimes on the rise these days?
I believe so. I think it is increasing every year.
Who is actually a typical computer hacker?
Well, generally males, generally young males, 15 to 25 demographic probably.
What kind of damage usually can a hacker do? You did mention about stealing your identity and things like that. Can you kind of explain what kind of things can a hacker do to damage a business?
Well, what they do is they try to get access, like what we call root or administrative access, where they could do to our computers, let's say at UND, what I can do to them by stealing my password, again, using tools to get access to our systems. And there they can, if you can do everything we can do, you could read people's emails, you could steal their files, you could change their files, you could do all sorts of havoc. One other thing they do if they can't successfully break in and get access is they can get in with enough access where they can cause a denial of service to other people. And that's generally what happens with less experienced hackers that use freely available Unix tools that they can download off the internet. And they're called script kiddies. They don't really know what they're doing, but the tools are widely available and they can be a real nuisance.
Those sound kind of scary that they can get in on, get in on your password and your email and things like that. What kind of security measures do you take for your system to help prevent hackers from hacking in and things like that?
Well, I really wouldn't want to say that for obvious reasons, but we constantly work and keep track of what's going on in the world as far as new threats, and we have a lot of tools at our disposal to protect against specific attacks, including constantly patching our servers and implementing new software to protect against specific threats that have been identified.
How do you catch hackers that try to break into your system? Is there like a certain way that'll kind of like...
Yes, I have techniques where I can actually see what's going on at a very basic level, what's going on the wire, so to speak. And I can identify, and also using what's called intrusion detection systems, which is software which is extremely complicated, which can tell certain signatures of potential hacking, and then I can look at it and I can make a determination what exactly is going on.
What happens to hackers when you do catch them?
Well, the police go after hackers that go after like banks and stuff like that. We don't go after hackers. We have methods of just cutting them off, essentially, cut them off at the pass so they can't do damage. We don't offensively go after hackers here at UND.
And I know because of the events of September 11th and things, is security, especially computer security, has that been needed to be tightened because of those events?
Of course, especially in infrastructure type things like nuclear power plants, the electrical power grid, hydroelectric plants, places like that where everything's run by computer, and security is absolutely essential to protect our whole grid from going out, like if electrical power plant gets hit. And so a lot of damage could be done if hackers terrorist hackers using cyber terrorism is usually what it's called, get through and they could do some damage.
And how can the average person like myself protect my home computer from hackers or other security issues like that?
Well, I don't think a hacker would actually go after you personally. That's not something I'd worry about. I think what an average person needs to worry about is identity theft. There's not a whole lot you can do about it, but you should keep track of your credit rating and make sure no one is stealing your identity. I always use, if let's say you don't have the standard modem, you have a cable modem, that's always on. That can make you a target. So always have a firewall running, and that comes with free with Windows XP, or you can download various programs for free off the internet. I always have antivirus running and have it set up to automatically update itself. Every person that I know has got a virus had antivirus running. They go put on the machine from Best Buy and forget about it. You have to configure it to constantly update because there's new viruses coming out every day and you're going to get hit by the new virus as opposed to the old virus. So you need the signatures for that software to identify those new viruses.
Well, thank you so much for sharing those tips with us.
Thanks.
For those who love to climb mountains, living in the Great Plains can be a problem. We'll tell you how many have found a way to still pursue their passion. And it's the little things that can sometimes make the biggest difference. For some, all it takes is a warm ride on a cold day, a lending ear, or maybe just a smile. Later, we'll see how one man can make your next visit to the hospital less of a pain.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, Native American Programs is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
A very small pink animal proves it doesn't take somebody big to do big things. Piglet's Big Movie is Walt Disney Pictures' newest animated film. The movie tells earlier unproduced stories from the original books. This time, Piglet is in the center of everyone's attention. He goes through the hassle of taking a bath for his good friend Baby Roo. Together with friends, he builds a house for Eeyore. He even helps Christopher Robin explore the North Pole. Songs in the film are written and performed by Carly Simon. The singer-songwriter says some of the ideas just popped into her head.
One day when I wasn't thinking about it and I was in the bathtub, I just started singing, "If I Wasn't So Small," and it just came, and the melody came, to me along with the lyric at the same time.
Japanese animators had to overcome some cultural, humor, and even weather barriers. The producer says they had to send a video clip to Japan explaining what a snow angel is. They also made them play Pin the Tail on the Donkey game before animating that scene with Eeyore. Piglet's Big Movie opens nationwide on March 21st. Now, time to take a look at the events happening in your area. Take a golf cart, a tin cover, and a regular driver, and you have got yourself the perfect combination. Today, we spend a day in the life of someone who protects many people from uncomfortable situations.
Mel Mold is a talker.
Was your son pretty tired there today, was he?
He is one of the few people who can visit friends while working.
Of course, you get the kids in here and they want to go faster all the time, you know.
It's not in his job title, but Mel talks about anything his clients can come up with.
I see all my old friends come in that known for years. They all come in here, you know, and you meet so many new people.
The temperature is near 0 degrees today. Warm conversation and time out of the wind is what Mel provides to people every day. Mel Mold spends his days driving the shuttle at this clinic in Grand Forks. The shuttle service operates year-round for patients. On any given day, Mel can put on 15 to 20 miles just by traveling between buildings. That's pretty far considering many people can run faster than Mel can drive. Good conversation is the key.
With the patients, I guess, we're helping them out, that they, a lot of them are so grateful for the help, and some of them are just looking for somebody to talk to a little bit.
The shuttle is free of charge to patients. This makes it convenient for those that use it often.
Oh, we think it's fantastic on a day like today when the sun is shining and the wind is cold and we're way out on the back lot.
No, it was nice, very nice.
It was nice, very nice. We really appreciated it.
The wonderful part for Mel is just being there to listen.
They need an ear, so to speak, and they I think that's the most satisfying part, is being able to have the time to let the people vent their feelings to you.
As for tomorrow, it will be a new day with new conversation. I'm Carrie Versdahl for Studio One.
The shuttle changes with the seasons. There are different types of covers depending on the weather and temperature. And of course, the busiest time of the year for Mel is during the cold winter months. Recycling is just one way you can help the environment. Many wonder what else can be done. Later, we'll see how architecture can play a role in saving our future. And clubs and organizations are popular in high school and colleges. Later, we'll take a look at one club that won't be found on any campus and has its very own set of red and purple rules. That story plus news, sports, and weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
North Dakota has been home to many successful entrepreneurs. George Bull and his partners found value in farina, the whitest part of wheat, and created cream of wheat. Patrick Haggerty is the founder of one of the nation's high-tech giants, Texas Instruments. And Raymond Rood's product has been used in every Olympic competition since 1960. He is responsible for the modern diving board. Ryan Foltz is the first graduate of the UND Entrepreneurship Program. Are you next?
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks for joining us today.
Well, did you know that rock climbing is kind of becoming a more popular sport nowadays?
It's been here for, ever.
I know. In fact, I was looking on the website, Outdoor Recreation Coalition of America, ORCA, their website.
Not the killer whale?
No.
Okay.
No. And they said that actually climbing has been around for 125 years. That is crazy.
So it's actually been a sport for 125 years.
It's been around a long time. And also they said that in 1994, there were 89 indoor rock climbing facilities. And there's now 4 times that amount today.
So in a short amount of time, a lot more rock climbers indoors now.
Yes, it is just growing. So, and actually later in our sports segment, we're going to have a story on indoor rock climbing. So we'll learn a little bit about that.
Yeah, we'll look for that. Also coming up in the next 30 minutes of Studio One, the situation in Iraq has many people in the U.S. concerned. But probably those most affected are the soldiers and their families. We'll tell you how some troops are preparing for deployment.
Also, some women resist the aging process with plastic surgery, anti-wrinkle creams, and hiding their age. Coming up, we'll see why some women are actually excited to turn the big 5-0.
And we've all heard of green thumbs before, but green buildings? We'll talk to one man who will tell us how a green building can benefit our future. But first, today's news with Haley Wamstead.
Thanks, Monty and Adria. The father of kidnapped victim Elizabeth Smart is publicly expressing his joy over her safe return. He spoke to a group of reporters outside their home one day after she was located in Salt Lake City. 15-year-old Elizabeth Smart was taken from her bedroom at knife point last June. She was found after a couple recognized the man who police had wanted to question about her disappearance. Police arrested Brian David Mitchell, who at one time worked at the Smart home, and a woman in connection with the kidnapping. Elizabeth was found just 15 minutes from her home.
God lives, He is there, He answers prayers, and the prayers of the world have brought Elizabeth home.
A judge has ruled that there is enough evidence to try actor Robert Blake for the murder of his wife. The Los Angeles judge said Blake had the time, the opportunity, and the motive to kill his wife, Bonnie Lee Bakley. During the hearing, bond was set at $1.5 million. If Blake makes bond, he will be required to wear an electronic surveillance device at all times. A new federal law is raising concern among model rocketeers. The propellant used to make the solid fuel motors of model rockets is now classified as an explosive. This new regulation imposes restrictions on shipping and handling of the rocket motors. Many shipping companies such as UPS have already stopped handling the motors. Rocket hobbyists are opposed to the new law because they say it treats them like criminals. They are worried they may eventually have to go through background checks to get the rocket parts they need. Because of the costs involved, many who sell the rockets are forced to buy in bulk. But one hobby store owner says she doesn't mind the extra work.
I'm in support of anything that protects our people, and if it inconveniences me a little bit to have to put a little more thought into an order, to order rocket engines in one lump sum instead of sticking a pack on here or a pack on there, I don't think that's too much to ask of me.
Companies that want to ship the rocket motors must apply for permits and undergo background checks. Model rocket hobbyists are preparing to fight back by lobbying Washington to change the law. Plans are underway for astronauts to return to the moon, but this time they won't be from the U.S. The Chinese Space Administration is setting its sights on a mission to the moon. The first stage will be to gather three-dimensional imaging and mapping of the moon's surface. In the second stage, the Chinese will land unmanned probes and robotic vehicles. They would like to collect samples of lunar soil and rock that will be examined by scientists here on Earth. China hopes to complete that phase by the year 2010, which would then pave the way for a manned space flight. The U.S. military is in the process of mobilizing its troops to fight a war with Iraq. Thousands of soldiers have been activated with just a few weeks to get ready. They could be gone for at least a year, away from family, friends, and their usual life. These soldiers are preparing for a long journey.
So 10 boxes of camo netting, 12 boxes of RO elements. I've already marked the inserts.
In just a few days, they'll be sent off for training and then overseas. They are members of the Water Purification Unit of the National Guard in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Right now, they have to pack up all their equipment, make a list of everything they're bringing along, and weigh it. but much of the preparation deals with personal matters.
We also did paperwork where I gave power of attorney to my father so he can take care of any affairs that I have while I'm gone. Basic stuff like changing your postal address, so whoever's going to take care of things, packing up and putting everything into storage. So it gets to be a lot, and then of course there's all the goodbyes.
For many, the goodbyes are probably the hardest part of the process.
I have a 3-month-old daughter, and I got married a month ago, I guess. The first time we got put on alert is when I got married, the next day.
Soldiers like Jared will probably miss out on some of his family's most memorable times, but he says they will keep in touch with letters and email, so he'll have something to look forward to when he comes home.
Well, I love to see Kim again, and my little daughter will probably be tough because she won't know who I am, so I'm sure she won't come up and give me a big hug or anything right away. I'll have to ease my way back into her life, which will be tough.
Everyone in a soldier's family has to mentally prepare themselves for the change, and for some, it can be harder than others.
One particular individual, every time his wife looks at me, she starts crying because she knows that when her husband comes over here, she's going to have to do without. And I really and truly, at that time, share their pain.
These soldiers don't know how long they will be gone, but they all hope for one thing, to make it back home to their families as soon as possible. The number of National Guard and Reserve troops on active duty in preparation for a possible war with Iraq continues to grow. With the latest call-ups, the total now approaches 200,000 soldiers. And that's news for today. Monty and Adria.
Thanks, Haley.
Well, now it's time to go check in on those weather temperatures with Nadine Schrader at the Regional Weather Information Center.
Well, Monty and Adria, our temperatures right around average for this time of year, and they are slowly, steadily staying where we've seen for the past hour. But let's take a look at Grand Forks currents right now. Temperature is sitting at 30 degrees. It's very, very windy outside with south winds at 23 miles per hour. March is a very stormy month. There are many research efforts that take place throughout the year to better understand the weather. Some researchers have a tool that will allow them to go places where most people would not look.
At the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, the atmospheric science program is really taking off, literally. The atmospheric science department has its own research jet in the form of a Cessna Citation II. Outfitted with specialized sensors and computers, this jet is used to study the properties of the atmosphere high above the ground. Paul Lahardy is the pilot who's in charge of ensuring this highly sophisticated airplane makes it back from its missions in one piece.
This gives me the opportunity to fly more the way I like flying. It's actually handling the airplane. At times we have to fly the aircraft by hand.
Usually pilots try to avoid thunderstorms and other dangerous weather. This crew actually looks for the rough conditions.
I have to admit, flying in and out of the clouds all the time and with a little bumpy every now and then, I really enjoy that.
Although this sounds like a very dangerous endeavor, atmospheric research is a key component of understanding what is going on with the weather. Reporting for Studio One, I'm John Randall.
The UND Citation Jet has recently seen action in Florida studying thunderstorms and the lightning that is associated with them. Well, it doesn't look like we're going to see any lightning in our extended forecast, but we are going to see some rain starting Sunday evening and continuing through Monday morning. Look at those lows, though, back up right about freezing on Saturday night at 32 degrees, and the high on Sundays will reach about 49. Your answer to your weather IQ question: a cloud-like stream usually seen behind the airplane is called a D, a contrail, and a contrail is formed from the exhaust of a jet engine. Well, Monty and Adria, it looks like our temperatures are going to be picking back up as we go into this weekend.
Okay, now I hope I say this right, but what is a fulgurite?
It's actually a fulgurite, and actually a fulgurite is when lightning strikes sand and it's so hot that the sand turns into a glass-like substance, and that glass-like substance is actually the fulgurite.
Interesting. Thank you, Nadine.
So that actually had nothing to do with airplanes and the streams left behind.
No. Oh well.
Could have fooled me.
I know.
All right, let's go to sports news again with Corey Morlock.
Thanks, Monty and Adria. When most people think of rock climbing, they think of climbing a big mountain. However, when mountains are not around, some people attempt to capture that same thrill by climbing indoors.
Rock climbing is a very exciting and sometimes dangerous sport. However, in some places it can be hard to find that big mountain to climb. Some turn to man-made walls to get their adrenaline rush, An indoor climbing competition was recently held at the Grand Cities Mall in Grand Forks, North Dakota.
It's adventurous and inside in the winter in Grand Forks. It's hard to find something fun to do inside, I think.
Indoor climbing can provide a fun and safe learning experience for younger climbers. This can be important before going out on real rocks where there is no padding. However, the indoor experience doesn't stop young climbers from having a good time.
It's just plain old fun. It's fun to climb, have the experience to go climbing, because actually climbing up to the top, it feels good to do that.
Indoor climbing poses different challenges to climbers. Man-made walls can sometimes make for a very difficult climb. This makes indoor climbing fun for even the most experienced climbers. Dexter Perkins has been rock climbing for 39 years and has climbed in places such as the Himalayas and the Alps, but indoor climbing still brings excitement.
When you're rock climbing outdoors, you're climbing mountains and natural environment, all the holds are real, and rock feels like rock and looks like rock. This looks like an artificial climbing wall with artificial holds on it, and the moves are different. It's more like gymnastics, and the stuff you do here it's highly specialized.
Whether it be rock climbing or indoor wall climbing, all climbers are trying to do one thing, and that's get to the top. This is Rich Marcis reporting for Studio One Sports.
The competition is judged by how many different routes a climber can take to reach the top of the wall. The different routes are marked by the colored holds. Now the answer to this week's Studio One Sports trivia question: how long was the longest boxing match ever? Our answer is C, 110 rounds. It was between Andy Bowen and Jack Burke, who fought for 7 hours and 19 minutes before the match was eventually called no contest, and the fighters could not go on anymore. That's the sports for today. Monty and Adria.
Thanks a lot, Corey. It is common for college students to choose classes depending on the teacher. One website lets students share their opinions. Later, we'll listen to some of your thoughts on the idea of rating professors.
Also, 50 years old and having fun are both part of one group. Coming up, we'll see which organization requires women to be at least that old to take part in their activities. That story is next on Studio One.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
Students can find out if their professor is smart, creative, and even sexy before setting foot into a classroom. There's an internet site where you can see how a teacher is ranked or express your own opinion. Although a number of instructors may be upset about the idea, some students say it is useful. Today we wanted your thoughts on websites that rate college professors.
I think it's a good idea.
give students a chance to find out from their peers, from people that have actually taken the classes and have had the professor. They get to know exactly how it's going to be for them.
Being an instructor myself and having periodically received phone calls, about 1:30 in the morning or 12:30 a.m., I know that students do rather enjoy this sort of thing. This just seems to make it a more official kind of activity.
If that professor's not going to be with your personality type, then you have the option to not take that course. But most of the time it's going to be required classes anyways.
And they should be taken into account in some manner or fashion and form, along with other evaluations done by faculty and perhaps testing.
They are pertinent, and as far as the student's point of view goes, I think they should be seen in that light, and I also feel that they should be signed by the student.
In a world of facelifts, wrinkle creams, and other age-defying techniques, there is a constant battle to remain young. For the women of one nationally recognized society, this is not the case.
Take a walk through the mall and look around. You might be surprised at what you see. Your everyday outing could be disrupted when you spot a particular type of woman coming your way.
It's the Red Hat Society. We're the Grand Forks chapter. We're called the Razzle Dazzle Dame. We're taking over the world with our canes and our boas.
A woman named Sue Ellen Cooper founded the Red Hat Society. Her inspiration to create this society of older women stemmed from the poem called The Warning. The Queen Mother of the Grand Forks chapter explains the gist of this poem.
When you grow old, you're going to wear purple and a red hat, and you're going to learn to spit, and you're going to gobble up samples in stores and do all the fun things that you couldn't do when you were younger.
You can imagine people are fairly curious when they encounter the Red Hat Society for the very first time.
You just have to be 50 or over.
Oh, I'm almost there. I got 5 years to go.
Yeah.
All right. So I can join your society then.
We just get together and go out and have fun, and we have to wear purple and a red hat and anything with flair.
Yeah, we get looks. People aren't used to that. Used to the hats, and you see a group of them together, and you really get the looks.
I think just having fun, just being able to, kind of do things that you are kind of inhibited to do otherwise. You probably wouldn't do. But when you put your red hat on and your purple, you can just about do anything.
So next time you see these women around, stop and say hi. After all, they're pretty hard to miss. Reporting for Studio One, I'm Jill Gustafson.
The Red Hat Society has over 6,000 chapters around the world. The organization is expanding rapidly and new chapters are forming every day. Buildings have a tremendous impact on the environment, both during construction and through their operation. Coming up, we'll talk to one man who says it's possible for that impact to be positive.
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
The Graduate School at the University of North Dakota is the premier graduate school of the Northern Great Plains, offering advanced degrees in more than 50 fields of study. Our innovative and flexible programs give full-time students, as well as working professionals, the opportunity to study under the guidance of nationally and internationally recognized faculty. Advance your career with a master's or doctoral degree from the Graduate School at the University of North Dakota.
When designing a building, an architect and an environmentalist might have conflicting views. Today, with the concept of green building, the two are one and the same. Buildings can now be designed to give more than they take. With us today is a man who has been recognized as one of the nation's leading environmentalists, Chair of Environmental Studies at Oberlin College, David Orr. Thank you for coming on the show today,
Nice to
David.
be here. Thank you, Marty.
What is green building?
Green building is designing buildings that work with natural systems and forces. And probably the most distinguishing trait of a green building is the use of solar power, but also natural materials and natural waste cycling.
Okay, so with the solar power, are there certain criteria before it can be called a green building? Is that part of it then?
Well, the U.S. Green Building Council, which is a nationwide organization, has developed criteria called the LEED building standard. And buildings can be rated, particularly commercial buildings, as silver, gold, or platinum buildings. And there are about 50 different criteria for those buildings. But they, from my standpoint, the major part is that they are solar powered and hyper efficient in the use of energy and materials.
Okay. How new is this concept of green building?
Well, in some ways it's very old. The Anasazi, 1,000 years ago, were building what we would call green buildings. They were built with local materials and so forth, but in many ways the idea is a very old idea. What we've added to it is new technology, photovoltaics, high-performance glazing or glass systems, and so you can build buildings that use energy very sparingly and use natural materials. But in many ways it's a very old concept.
Okay. Now is this only for building, corporations, big huge buildings, that sort of thing, or is it down to the level of a homeowner?
Oh, it applies to all scales. It applies to new buildings, it applies to shopping malls. There's a major mall being planned for Syracuse, New York, which will be a green building, or green buildings powered by photovoltaics. But it applies also to houses, academic buildings, and also renovations of buildings.
Okay. Now, what are some of the main benefits? Obviously, it's good for the environment, but that's such a general term. What are some of the main benefits of this?
Well, let me mention two. One is if you design a building right and it sips energy, it doesn't gulp energy, lower cost and lower operating cost, and that applies to householders as well as college or commercial buildings. The second is we build places that we want to be in, build places with white sound, and which is the sound of water, light and airy and wonderful buildings that we really want to live in or work in. And so two major benefits here, and they're in every way cost-effective benefits.
Okay. Now, and you were involved with the construction of one of these buildings. It was actually recognized as one of the 30 milestone buildings of the 20th century. What makes this building so remarkable?
I've got to say that the first McDonald's is also one of those 30
Really?
buildings, and I do not know what it is to be on the list with the first McDonald's. In our case, I think there are two things that make the Lewis Center distinctive. One is the fact that we engaged about 250 students and faculty and townspeople in the design process. And typically, we're not involved in design. That's the architects and engineers' work. And the second is the range of things that we did in this building. We said the building is going to be a zero discharge building, drinking water in, drinking water out. Powered as much as you can in Ohio, we're a pretty cloudy part of the world, by sunlight. Using natural materials, no clear cuts, no toxic materials in fabrics or flooring. All the wood in the building is from certified forest, so no clear cuts there. So it was the range of things that we did, but the other thing that made it so distinctive was using students and people generally in the design process.
Okay. Now, you obviously have a passion for doing this kind of work. Why do you do this?
Well, for two reasons. One is this is fun. We're asking bigger questions than we've typically asked to build tract houses or shopping malls and so forth. And the other is a more serious reason. This generation of students has to go from a world that releases about 8 billion tons of heat-trapping gases down to a world of about 3. They've got to disinvent fire. We've got to create a world and models of green buildings, and buildings are about 40% of the problem of climate change and about 30 to 40% of any big problem. We've got to create models that work for this next generation of students. So there are a number of reasons why you do this, but those are the two I'd point out.
Well, David, thank you for coming on the show today and giving us a glimpse at what you're trying to spread across the nation and also different countries as well.
Bonnie, thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Thanks. You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be back right after this.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, Native American Programs is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
At UND Aerospace, let your future take flight. Plan your education in the most technologically advanced collegiate and contract aerospace training environment on the planet. Graduates work for top agencies and fly for every major airline nationwide. Study on campus, via distance learning, or at any of our facilities, and you'll be where the aviation industry leaders of tomorrow are today. UND Aerospace at the University of North Dakota, Grand Forks.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
Valor Insurance partners with you in protecting what matters most. For more than 50 years, Valor has built its reputation on its people, its clients, and a commitment to VIP service. Valor Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks. Valor Insurance understands that the strength of its people is its greatest asset. People that tailor insurance protection that meets your needs. That's the key to VIP service. Valor Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks.
Tune in next week on Studio One, and we'll see how one man's act takes juggling to the extreme. He likes to throw around running chainsaws. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
Well, we're going to leave you now with pictures of people enjoying the winter weather, courtesy of photographer Daniel Turner. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.